Welcome into Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale here with Skip Bayless and a very happy Shannon Sharpe.
No, I don't. You know, JT.
You got a new one. Don't hold that one up.
Don't do this, kid.
That one's disgraced.
How you disgrace?
Come on.
After the way he played last night. Bounce back game.
Really? 9 of 23.
You a hater.
Come on. Hold up the right side.
No.
You got a new favorite.
No, JB got us going. JB, that first leg.
Going, he is your best player. You know it, and I know it. I've been trying to tell you that.
JB runs first leg, and then he hands that thing off in the ankle leg on JT.
Yeah. All I know is I have finally learned my lesson once and for all. Do not bet on effing Stephen in any big NBA Finals game because he will let you down. And he let me down to the ground last night.
Well, if Steph Curry is your problem, you got a lot of problems.
Well, he is my only problem.
No, he ain't your only problem.
Yes, he is.
Woo! You see that? I told you it's going to be a blowout. I tried to tell you that.
No, you didn't, because you wouldn't give me the 3.5 because you did not have the courage of your convictions.
I felt like, you smell that Skip blowout? No.
No, and I pushed you to the bitter end yesterday. You said, I don't know. I can't give you the 3.5.
Well, I give you whatever you want for game 4 right now.
Oh, well, that's big of you. I'm never betting on effing Stephen again. I'm not. I'm serious. I'm done. I learned my lesson. I'm over. Okay. I'm out. Let's start the show.
You're going to learn another lesson, too, today.
What do you think is the biggest reason the Celtics won last night?
Well, Brown and Tatum got support that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson did not get. You mentioned Brown and Tatum doing what they did, 50-plus points between the two, but then you get 24 points from Marcus Smart. Skip, you get 11 points from Al Horford when he only gave you two nights ago. And then you get Robert Williams chips in. He gives you 8, gives you 10 rebounds, and he was huge in protecting the paint. And so that's the kind of production that the Warriors are going to need. They need Jordan Poole. Skip, you can't get 2 points and 6 fouls. Draymond cannot have more fouls than he have any other stat. He had 6 fouls, he fouls out. He only had 3 assists. He only had 4 rebounds. He only had 2 points.
Wait, 6 fouls and 2 points?
6 fouls, 2 points.
From your guts and glue guy? Okay.
4 rebounds and 3 assists. That won't get it done. Kevon Looney needs to give you more. And that's what they got the other night. Draymond's not going to, more times than not, he's not really a double 12, 13-point-a-game guy. But he can give you 8, 9 assists, 7, 8, 9 rebounds. He didn't give you any of that. Kevon Looney needed to give you more than 7 rebounds. He normally can give you, when he starts giving you double-digit rebounds, and Skip, he starts hovering around 8, 12 points. And if you could have got that with the way Klay and Steph were shooting the ball, now you might have been in business. I don't know. Maybe Ime Udoka and I got our basketball knowledge from the same school. Because it just boggles my mind, and it makes me so upset. He's yelling at Al Horford, you've got to show. You can't drop. Robert Williams, you've got to show. You can't drop. Skip, when they set that pick that high out, that's Steph. He can shoot it from 27. You are no good in the paint. And finally, in the fourth quarter, they said, you know what? You're right, Coach. You're right. We're going to show hard. We're going to show hard, and we're going to not let them. And you see what happened. 11 points in the fourth quarter. Skip, if you look at their record, when they have 15 or fewer turnovers, they're 13-2 in the playoffs. They had 12 last night. The 2 big guns only had 4 between them. You can live with that. Marcus Smart, I still thought he turned the ball over a little bit too much, but he made up for it on the offensive end by giving you 24 big points. Skip, I just think that was the difference in the ball game. Yes, we know Boston, if they can keep Golden State in the half-court set, stop turning the ball over and let Steph get in those transition threes, let Klay get transition threes, let them get easy runouts, it's going to be very difficult. I don't believe the Warriors can beat them unless they start getting 20, 19, 18, 19 turnovers, 20-plus turnovers, and getting easy buckets. But last night, this was a total team win. You look at the production that they got from top to bottom, your big guns show up. You get Marcus Smart and Al Horford chipping in for you. Skip, they're going to be difficult to beat. I hate to break this news to you, but you're in a heap of trouble. I think you know that now. I think it dawned on you last night when you was watching that game at the time when the clock was ticking down. You're like, what have I done got myself into? What have I done?
Is it now my turn?
It is.
Because I am about to unleash. I got to gather myself. Am I the only one seeing what is happening to Steph Curry again and again and again and again? Just as we saw down the stretch of the 2015 going into the 2016 finals. Down the stretch of 2016, they're up 3-1, and I don't want to beat the dead horse that is that finals. But Steph Curry was all-time shockingly atrocious. 2019, all-time shockingly atrocious without Kevin Durant in games 3, 4, 5, and 6 of that finals. Leading to this finals, it happened again last night, and I'm having to judge him, to grade him by the bar that you have raised, because you made the case going into these finals that Steph is on the verge of being a all-time top 10 player.
Yes.
All-time top 10 player. So what did I have to sit and watch last night in the first half? They hunted Steph Curry. They just said, wherever he goes, get him.
Yeah.
Abuse him. Yeah. Expose him on defense, because he was playing none. He had one little stretch in the third quarter of the game they won at home in game 2 where I thought he played passable defense.
Yeah.
But last night was pathetic.
He got in
with
foul
a
trouble,
capital P. He got in foul trouble because he just reached in and grabbed him, because that's all he could do. People are past him. He's just reaching and grabbing. And Marcus Smart, if he got step on him, would just say, get out of the way. I'm just going to back him in, and I'll just shoot a little 4-foot jumper over him. He can't guard. And you would suggest anybody out there, I'm sure there are billions out there because he is so beloved. I got it. He revolutionized the game in the regular season. He invented the logo 3 in the regular season. He is a blast to watch. The most exciting player in basketball in the regular season. But in the first half last night, the reason the game got out of hand was Steph couldn't guard anybody. What do you say? Couldn't guard an unparked car with an Uzi? well, he couldn't with 2 Uzis. Okay, now we go to, yet again, another third quarter. Same song, second verse. How did they win game 2? Well, Clay finally made a 3, which set off Steph, and he scored 15 points. Boom, 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 boom. It was vintage, classic Steph Chef salvo, right? Mm-hmm. And the game was over after 3 quarters, and he did not play in the fourth quarter of that game. Last night, right on cue, here we go again. What do you have in the third? He had
15 in the third.
Well, he had 14. It was the other night. So it was 15 last night.
Right.
15 in the third quarter. And kaboom. What happened with, what was it, 3:49 left? No, 3:45. 3:45 of the third quarter. As you well know, Steph hit a 3 that actually gave Golden State the lead, 83 to 82. Mm-hmm. And to Marcus Smart's credit, and the one thing I do love about him, I don't think he's a quote-unquote point guard, and you don't trust him as a point guard, and he did have 5 more turnovers last night.
Right.
But he does occasionally take and make very big shots.
Yes.
And he came right on top of the Steph 3 with his own 3.
Put him back up, too.
Okay, so the game teeter-totters, and it goes to the fourth, a 4-point game.
Yes.
Okay, now, I took Golden State because I just thought that Steph and Clay could be a little better on this stage than Jayson and Jaylen. Mm-hmm. And it came down to finals experience. So if you're telling me it's a 4-point game, and I do have Steph Curry on my side, and he's on the verge of being a top 10 all-time ranked player, he has to be the best player on the floor in the fourth quarter. Am I right? He just should be, because I think if you pulled him out of the fray, you'd say, well, he's the best player on the court, right? Because he's the most decorated player on the court. He's won 2 MVPs. He was a unanimous MVP once upon a time long ago. So could we see what Steph started doing early in the fourth quarter? Could we see what happened starting at 10:41, please, of the fourth quarter? This is Steph Curry, 10:41. You cannot do that. You can't do that. You can't give him a run out. 9:29, just a few seconds later, you can't do that. You hit Draymond in the feet with it. And then you can't do that. That was 9:19. Within a minute and 22, you give them bang, 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 3 basketballs. You just say here, here, and here.
Right.
You can't. If you're that guy, if it's this game to win, this is the turning point of this series. It's 1-1, and you have a shot now to take a team that has teetered at home, because they lost 2 games to Milwaukee at home and they lost 2 games to Miami at home. If you can get them on their heels, you have to apply the pressure, because the only shot they made in that stretch was Marcus Smart banked home a three.
Yeah.
And it was
Shot
as
clock
lucky
running
as you
down.
can get. He just heaved it up and it banked in. Look what I found. So you still have them a little on their heels where they're like, uh-oh, because Clay suddenly found his stroke.
Yes.
First of the game, you just throwing the ball, just throwing it, heaving it, and praying that it hit something, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, he got back to that little quick wrist flip because it's just a little wrist snap of his. And all of a sudden, the threes started falling.
Right.
And if you can get them both going at the same time, especially into the fourth quarter, here you got something because you could.
You definitely had them in the third quarter.
Okay. But you do it in every third. You own the third quarter because this is third quarter Steph. That should be his nickname, third quarter Steph. Right on cue, what does he do in this fourth quarter last night? Let me find the stat sheet, shall we? Fourth quarter, here it is. Steph Curry goes 1 of 4 in the fourth quarter. He misses both of his three-point shots in the fourth quarter.
He only had 2, Skip. Both of him and Clay was 0 for 2 from 3.
All right, but I'm saying he missed both. He missed both of his three-point shots. He did not get to the free throw line yet again. So if we stand back and look at the big picture of this NBA Finals, Steph Curry has played actually 2 of the 3 fourth quarters because he sat for the one that they won. Would you believe in those 2 full fourth quarters that Steph Curry has done nothing? Would you believe he has made no threes in the fourth quarter yet in those 2 fourth quarters that he played? He's made no threes. So the guy who has the all-time record for three-point shooting in 2 fourth quarters with the game on the line has 0 threes made in the fourth quarter. In game 1, he made a 2-point shot that gave them a 3-point lead with 6:05 left in his house. With 6:05 left, and I don't want to beat that dead horse again, but down the stretch, he made no shots. He tried 4 shots, but he missed all 4 of his shots down the stretch, and your team pulled away and won game 1 in his house. So in game 1, he was a minus 20 in the fourth quarter. That was a game worst. In last night's game, he was let me get the stat right, minus 10, which was also a game worst. This is verge of all-time top 10 Steph Curry. That's just flat pathetic. That is inexcusably bad because he is, quote unquote, the best player on the floor. You got to give me something. You got to take over. You can't turn it over 3 straight times or you're going to lose.
Well, they turned it over the team 8 times, and Boston only turned it over once. So now all of a sudden you're not getting opportunities at your basket, and they're getting runouts and they're getting extra cracks at you. So we understand that, Skip. But at the end of the day, see, when I say Jayson Tatum is playing bad, everybody wants to talk about how good a defense the Warriors are playing. Oh, we're not going to talk about the defense that the Celtics play?
I'll give you that. But think about this. The Golden State Warriors of Steph Curry fame, 2-time MVP, all-time greatest three-point shooter, they scored last night in the fourth quarter 11 total points.
Yeah.
That's the 3rd worst quarter of any finals game in the shot clock era. Yeah. Think about that. Steph Curry's team, in that fourth quarter, you can take any quarter played in the shot clock era. It was the 3rd fewest points ever scored in a quarter by the Golden State Warriors, 11 points. Obviously, we'll talk about this in depth in a minute. He aggravated his foot injury in a pile-up with Al Horford, and we'll talk about if he's going to be available for Game 4 in a few minutes, but that didn't occur until 4:29 left in the game. The game was way over at that point, and by the way, he did continue to play after that, so we'll put that all into perspective in a moment.
Right.
But the point is, I will give you credit because Jaylen Brown, especially to me, is just a terror on defense. He was all over Klay Thompson, and Klay did not go along for any ride in the fourth because he was 0 for 3.
Right.
Okay, so he didn't help at all.
Right.
But the best player, by all accounts, is Steph Curry, and he gave you nothing. He gave you 1 2-point shot that came with 7.5 minutes left. That's all you got. 11 points. Well, he let them down. He let me down. He let the world down. But he continues to be, he has eclipsed LeBron and Aaron Rodgers as now the most overprotected superstar in all of sports, and it's not even close. Even you protect him.
It's good, but no, I don't protect him, but I do watch the game, and I understand that you under this notion that, okay, you're a great player, and, you know, if you got it going early, you should be able to just maintain that and just keep, you score 15 in the third, well, go score 15 in the fourth. And it doesn't work like that.
How about go score 7 in the fourth?
It wasn't going to skip. I mean, if you look at it, nobody, I mean, the leading scorer in the fourth quarter was Andrew Wiggins. He had 5. Look at the 0. Draymond, 0. Clay, 0. Kevon Looney, 0. Peyton Jr., 0. Otto Porter, 0. Jordan Poole had 4 points. You're not going to skip. You're not going to win scoring 11 points. Well, there you going to be scoring 11 points.
Thank you. You're preaching to my choir.
But but also,
where's your best player?
What do you, Skip? Look, I just thought they did. Steve Kerr took some courage to do what Steve did, because even after he picked up those 2 quick fouls in the first, Steve left him in the ball game. He picked up the 3rd foul in the second quarter, and he left him in the ball game. And I felt that was one of the smarts. Like, well, I'm going to attack him. I'm going to post him up. Al Horford all of a sudden like, hey, I'm 6'10". They don't have anybody over there 6'10". And you see what he started to do, Skip. He stopped settling for those threes, and he started banging down inside. So I'm like, Al, you a back-to-the-back player. You turned yourself into a stretch, but you came into the league as a back-to-the-basket player. Go back to that. Do that. But, Skip, look. We gave Draymond all the credit. He set the tone in game 2 and yada, yada, yada. Draymond was awful. But at some point in time, these officials are going to have to grow a backbone. You cannot, Skip, and I get it, Skip. You don't want to say, you know, well, he influenced. And I believe one of the reasons that they suspended Draymond, let's go back to 2016. Skip, I believe one of the reasons they suspended him is that, you know what? Nobody has ever come back from 3-1 in the finals. So what if he misses a game? It gonna be, you know, Skip, they gonna take care of business. And all of a sudden, they didn't take care of business.
Nope.
And everybody is saying, well, you influenced the game because Draymond missed 1 game, and you still had 2 games to get done what you needed to get done, and it didn't happen. Skip, you cannot allow this man to continuously berate the officials. Scott Foster is known to tee you up. And he pretends like Draymond is not even existing. He's yelling in Courtney Kirkland's ear even after he fouls out. And it just turns his back like, keep it going. At some point in time, somebody's going to have to grow a spine and say, Draymond, that is enough. Anymore, I'm going to tee you up. And if Draymond gets thrown out of the game, that's Draymond. That's not on the officials. It's not the officials to manage Draymond's behavior. They make sure that, look, Draymond, that's enough, bro. Okay, we heard you. Now let it go. And he just keeps it going. You're going to have to tee him up. He's going to end up costing. Now, I think the thing is that he knows, like, they don't want to throw me out because they feel somewhat culpable for what transpired in 2016. So I'm going to keep it going. But, Skip, I mean, at what point in time is enough enough? I mean, can we show the play? You tell me, Skip, is this a foul or not? Hey, we got that play, DJ? There's a play last night at the free throw. Check this out, Skip. You tell me if this is a foul, Skip. Skip, what is this?
Yep.
He does stuff like this the entire. Come on, Skip. I mean, the guy just looking at him.
At one point, they called him early into the lane.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because he was at the top in it early. But at some point in time, Skip, the behavior that he's displaying.
All right, I got it. But in the end, Boston shot 24 free throws to Golden State's 15. So it didn't manifest itself across the board.
No, Skip, it's not like Boston shot 40 free throws and they shot 13. But you look at points in the paint. But, Skip, that's what Boston should dominate.
All right, but here's the point about Draymond. I hear what you're saying. You're right about what you're saying. But the backbone needed to be grown last night by Draymond Green. And to his credit, he called himself out after the game, and he said, I was SH tonight.
Yeah.
And he said, I was soft tonight. Well, bingo, bingo. I agree with both because he was getting obliterated by Robert Williams.
Yeah.
And I kept wondering, didn't Izzo teach you to screen your man off? You know, when the ball goes up, can't you just get your butt into him and try to back him out a little bit? Because Robert Williams would just go up over Draymond and just snatch it right in front of Draymond. Like go over him without fouling him and snatch the ball back.
But Skip, Draymond is like a Rodman. He's a below the rim rebounder. Robert Williams can elevate.
Okay, but you got to push him out of the lane. You got to put your butt into him and back him out of there. And Draymond was just playing soft last night. And this is obliteration on physicality, because to your point, it's 47-31 on the boards. And then back to your point about points in the paint, 52-26, second chance points, 22-11, offensive rebounds,
15-6.
15-6. You got pounded, punished, out physical. That's what you got.
But Skip, I think the thing is that we look at Golden State. Golden State is really not a great rebounding team, but they were tremendous against Memphis, who led the league in rebounding. They punished the Dallas because Dallas doesn't have any bigs. And so now these guys, because they're used to playing that small lineup, I'm not sure Dallas is used to playing a small lineup. Balls are going everywhere. Draymond's beating them to it. Guys are beating them to the loose ball. Kevon Looney, Skip, remember, he had one game, he had 22. He had another game, he had 18. Now you get Al Horford, who can rebound. And sometimes it's like, well, damn, Al, how you let the little guy like that get like Andrew Wiggins sneak in there and get a couple offensive rebounds? You got Robert Williams, who gave you double-digit rebounds last night. Skip, there's no way Golden State should ever out-rebound the Boston Celtics when you got Al Horford, Robert Williams, you got JT, you got JB. Even Grant Williams gave you production last night. And in the first two games, Skip, he's been a no-show. I just thought they needed Clay and Steph needed someone else to go along for the ride. Like Marcus Smart went along with them. Not that he said he's going for the ride, but Skip, give them the 20 points. It's going to be hard because it's the same thing happened in game one. You had 3 guys with 20 points. Skip, they're going to be hard. You're not beating the Celtics if you let 3 of their 3 main guys go get 20.
Well,
that's not going to happen.
The stat of the night was this is the first time since Showtime Lakers in 1984 when you had 3 go 25-5 plus, 25.
Kareem, Magic, and Cooper.
Yeah, and that's all the way back to 84. That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. It was also the Lakers against the Celtics, and that was the Celtics end up winning them. That's when he took Kurt Rambis out the air. Okay. You remember that.
So props to the Celtics. It's still hard for me to fathom how Golden State comes out in game 2 and plays way harder than Boston. And then Boston comes out in game 3, obviously back home, and plays way harder than Golden State.
Got our crowd into it.
Okay, well, you did. And you haven't lived up to your crowd's expectations in the past because you've lost all those home games, 2-2 to Milwaukee and Miami. But in this case, I tell you, every time I'm rooting against Boston, the player who scares me the most is always Jaylen Brown. He's got the guts. He's got the Mamba mentality, not Jayson. So Jayson comes out a little timid, a little soft, a little non-aggressive, and Jaylen Brown was a terror in the first quarter.
Well, but Scott, I think the thing
17 points in the first quarter.
Which is what, a franchise record for a quarter for the Celtics?
Yep.
But Skip, Andrew Wiggins is doing an unbelievable job on Jayson Tatum. He's making it difficult. While Jaylen Brown has Clay. Clay is not the same Clay moving laterally, defensively, as he was prior to those injuries. But you see what happened. JB gets it started. JT brings that thing home.
He didn't really bring it
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Hold on. Why you over there talking? What to do?
Well, JT shot 9 of 23 and 3 of 9 from 3. That you want to talk about inefficient?
Big shots, though. Hitting big shots.
Oh, big shots? He made a couple. I'll give you that. But the terror of the night, the impact player of the night, was JB, not JT.
If JT can make a layup, how many layups did you see him miss, Skip? He should have 34, 36
That's
points.
the problem. Thank you for bringing that up. You need to request Boston to send you a 7, number 7 jersey in honor of the quarterback that you played with in Denver, because you need a green number 7. You need to get on a new bandwagon and drive JB's bandwagon.
What number Marcus Smart? Let's see. I think I'm going to get me a Robert Williams. Robert Williams. Yeah. He be throwing that stuff up out of there. He be trying to dunk on him. Get it out of here.
I loved the game Robert Williams played last night, Shannon. He was so physical. Even though it looked like that knee was bothering him, he just muscled through.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.